Hello and welcome to the show. It is back on to Forza Motorsport 6 for this week's Failrace versus the community as we race some cycle production. That means all of the cars here are completely identical and completely stock. Our first race using the older Focus RS around the Hockenheim short circuit. It's 3 wide up towards the second corner here. The purple car just runs out of road on the outside. You definitely don't want to be on the outside of 3 wide through that corner. However, everybody made it through the opening section remarkably cleanly. These Focuses, pretty damn good cars to drive. I have to say, everything, I think, been spending a lot of time on Horizon 3 and then suddenly going back to Forza 6. Everything is a little bit more understeery. That is the general kind of feeling that what we've been driving on Horizon 3. However, things were going pretty well in this first race. I ran wide at the final turn, and we all run too wide out onto the sand. You're not quite where you want to be putting your cars. It's almost 3 wide up ahead on the run in towards the first corner. I am stuck on the outside, going to have to yield and give that position. However, the car ahead runs wide on the exit, bouncing across. It's a very nasty curb on the outside of turn 1 there, and sure enough, I can fire the orange Focus up the inside, although in doing so, I was a little late on the brakes. The sort of chrome car will cut back to the inside, and we continue to be going side by side. As this helps the cars behind us when you're fighting for position like this. Certainly helps the vehicles behind, and it allows the group up ahead to escape away a little bit. I'm trying my very best to find a way past as I cut back to the inside on the exit of the next corner. Just get my nose across in time before the white car has an opportunity to have a go up the inside. Unfortunately for the poor BP car, tried his best, just ran out of grip on the outside there. I'm then immediately coming under attack from another vehicle, although he's trying to go the long way around the hairpin, and a blue car up ahead that had made a mistake, stuck on the outside, is quite a helpful shield for me, although as he does just about manage to recover the blue car, losing a whole heap of position. It's one of the difficulties when racing a single make race. You make a mistake, it can be very, very costly. There were certainly a few small mistakes. Quite a lot of us ended up out wide here. I know I did at one point in the race. This red Focus just couldn't quite get the car slowed down in time. Does fight back though immediately on the car ahead, although it's forced to try and take that long way around into the hairpin. He goes for it. It's a big lunge under braking, but in the end can't quite make that manoeuvre stick around the outside, and it's difficult to find ways past. If you're racing against an identical car, if they're defending the line, it is very, very difficult to find a way past unless they make a mistake, as our leader would find. Sort of turned in a little bit too soon around that corner, and that's just compromising. It's compromised him enough that he's now coming under heavy pressure from the black car in second. Black car tries to kind of dive to the inside. There's not really very much space on there. You end up taking such a tight line across there that you're never going to be able to get a good run off the corner, and the light blue car would regain his lead. Again, they both go to the inside as the leader is trying to fend off that second place, and in doing so, the sort of black and grey car has slowed himself down so much trying to dive to the inside, he would lose the second place, falling back into third as one vehicle would end out in the sand trap on the outside, not where you want to be. The leader, having had one car fall back, though, is still under immense pressure as we bounce through the curbs at turn 1. He's just not quite got the speed. He's stuck on the outside as the bright blue car will take that position from him. You can, if you get it spot on, get a cut back on the exit of that second corner, and certainly the lighter blue car has got a good run down this back straight. It's just not quite close enough to really try anything. There's only a half chance really up the inside, and is unable to fight back for the lead. Again, having a look, trying to get to the inside, but couldn't quite make it stick. I was very much in the thick of things, running very wide car behind me, joining me in the running very, very wide through that section. I'm now stuck on the outside of this very, very scary corner. Now we've got an orange and blue car stuck behind us. Now he's got nowhere to go. You can't really make it 3 wide down this part of the road, especially not with the way that we were positioning our cars in the road there. And it did help me out when I got the pass and I kind of maintained the position up the inside. Having another car there immediately to distract the black car makes my life an awful lot easier. So yeah, it certainly helps out in these large group battles. We're having a lot of fun, actually. We're having a lot of fun with these guys. You can see the size of the group that was going on here. It was, yeah, really remarkably close. At the front, and it was all blue focuses that were leading the way as second and third would now start having a little bit of a scrap again on the run up towards the second corner. This time, the light blue car goes very defensive on the inside. You haven't been caught out by that move last time around. Wasn't quite enough. When you go too defensive to the inside, you can take such a tight line that you then make yourself slow off of the corner, and that is exactly what we see here. Again, that light blue Focus is having half a sniff, but that is a pretty much flat out corner, and yeah, not likely to be much space for you to be able to stick your nose up the inside and get a pass done. Can be done, but is not the easiest of corners. At the front though, and it would be the very brightest of blue Focuses that would go on to take the victory. What it did, as you would expect, really calmed down a little bit in the closing stages of this race as everything got a slight bit more spread out. It was a lot of fun. These were definitely a good car to start coming back to Forza 6 with. There's a lot of close racing throughout the field. You can see the groups further back. Yeah, it was really rather entertaining. This was the squabble that was going on towards the lower parts of the top 10 on the very final lap. The white car diving up the inside of the hairpin to move up a position. The black car was again trying to defend into these final corners, just leaves half a gap on the inside. The BP car is more than happy to fill that gap as they round the final turn, and would manage to get the run, which is that better line out of the final turn, get that run across the line. Yeah, these were excellent fun. Up next, we would head to the Silverstone International Circuit with the Mitsubishi Gto, a car that I very much like, although a car that not everyone quite likes the handling characteristics of. It is quite an understeery vehicle, this one, and while PI-wise, when it comes to building one of these to a specific car class, I've never been particularly good, never see very many good ones either. We're all in identical cars, so it doesn't really matter. It is the third corner here at Silverstone, catches a lot of people out. We see a couple of cars up ahead here, a few more cars further back would also end up stuck out wide. It's almost 3 wide as we head onto the back straight. The green car thinking better of having a go up the inside there. The tyre bundle at this track, I know the purpose of having the tyre bundle there, stop people kind of gaining advantage from corner extending at that part. That tyre bundle is woefully dangerous. It is just horrendously dangerous with the way that they kind of punt cars back into traffic. Everybody got through there on lap 1, however. The yellow car we're following a little bit wide at the end of the straight. The red car trying to make the most of it, but is that bit too far back to really affect a pass. We're certainly all kicking off in these early laps with the GTOs as we round the final corner here. They are 3 wide, trying to make it 4 wide on the run towards the first corner. Silverstone's quite a wide track, still 4 GTOs is not quite what you want going into the same piece of tarmac, and sure enough, things do not quite work out for everybody. This rather psychedelic car, however, picks his way through the order perfectly, makes up 3 positions in 2 corners. That is very good going, because they're all busy taking wonky lines, trying not to tangle with one another. This car can pick the line that he wants, and yeah, that's kind of what you want to be doing. And now he's very much looking at the back of the white car, has a dive up the inside, can't quite get it done though, has to take a too tighter a line across the grass a little bit, and would end up being slowed down the back straight. And that's not a place you particularly want to be slow. Again, everyone in identical cars, you definitely don't want to be losing any momentum anywhere. This group had, well, trouble very much written all over it, while there were a lot of cars trying to fit into a very small piece of tarmac, and everyone was doing a pretty good job. There was the odd little bit of paint swapping going on, and quite a lot of cars going sideways at places. However, everything was just about staying together. Unfortunately, the tyre bundles would claim their first victims. One of the cars towards the front of this group would clip it, get turned, and then just sort of spun stationary in front of the field. That is why I do not like the tyre bundles on Forza 6 in some of the positions where they are. Because, yeah, that's not good. If that's a solid concrete wall, that would be fine, because the car would just sort of glance off it and carry on. But the way that they sort of stop cars and spin cars, it is, yeah, horrendously dangerous and wipes out 4 or 5 vehicles in a single crash very easily. At the front, and I was leading the way. However, I was under increasing amounts of pressure from the yellow GTO trying to find a way past, but I was not budging in this one. I was having to employ my best defensive driving to try and stop the other car from finding a way past. Now, this is admittedly easier when you're in identical cars. As I said, it is difficult to get passes done. You know, neither of you have advantages in the corners. Neither of you have advantages down the straights. So you've got to make a nice clean move stick, and I know what I'm doing when it comes to defending. I can position my car exactly where I want it to be and make it really tough for the yellow car to find a way past. As we come onto the straight, the replay camera doesn't quite know what to do. That's just how close our vehicles were. And again, I'm forcing that yellow car to have to try and take the long way round. I'm okay for him getting up alongside, because I know he hasn't got any more grip than me when we come to this next corner. So again, I'm forcing him to try and take that long way round. I actually outbrake myself a little tiny bit. The yellow car goes for the cutback. Again, I'm okay with that though. At this point in the track, he can go for that cutback because he's again going to be stuck on the outside for the next corner. He then outbrakes himself ever so slightly. That makes him slow through the first part and will keep me clear. You can go around the outside of that chicane, but you've got to be absolutely spot on the braking. With the yellow car running a little bit too deep, I can just keep on defending my position. While the tyre bundle did slightly make a mess of the battles further back and did quickly spread out the field down here, there were still the odd couple of passes and odd couple of battles going on in this group. The blue vehicle here trying to find a way past the car ahead, goes very, very defensive. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too late on the brakes from both of them, to be honest. The green car, though, running out that a little bit too wide. The blue vehicle can sweep around the outside of the next corner. That gets you to the inside for the run onto the straight, although, as I said, you do have to be careful with that run onto the straight. If you take too tighter a line, you can end up being very, very slow. And you see here the green car's immediately coming back at him as we run down here. Also helps when you've got that little bit of slipstream on the run down towards this next corner. However, the green car not quite close enough, not quite brave enough to have a dive under braking. At the front, and still the battle raged on. This went on for about 6 laps between the pair of us, near enough the entirety of the race. We were fighting for the lead, and the yellow car could not find a way past. Now, one of the most important things when it comes to defending is you can't afford to make a mistake. When I'm going as defensive as I am here, I can't afford to make a mistake. And it was on the final lap where I do. While under not a huge amount of pressure through the first corner, I actually run a little bit too wide, and that gives the yellow car his opportunity. Dives up the inside into turn 3, but he can't get it stopped. As we go into this corner, he can't get it stopped, ends up forcing me a very, very long way around. We're both massively out of position. He gives me space to rejoin the track after having kind of forced me off at that point, and we end up now once again side by side coming down the back straight. The yellow car, having had that little too tighter a run onto the straight, just doesn't quite have the momentum to do anything. I can get my car across and I can cover the inside at the end of this straight, and I've been doing this time and time again, lap after lap. I've been covering this inside, making it very, very difficult, and still the yellow car couldn't do anything. I'm making sure I've got the inside covered here into the final corner as we underbrakes one last time. The yellow car a little bit closer to making it stick, but still just can't quite do it. As we round the final corner, there was just nowhere for the yellow vehicle to go. Fantastically entertaining battle, incredibly nerve-wracking for me trying to fend off for so many laps. And if the yellow car hadn't outbraked himself into turn 3 on this lap, he would have won. But because he couldn't quite pull it up, I think he saw his opportunity and in the excitement just couldn't quite pull it up in time. And yeah, I would manage to take victory. An excellent, excellent race for me. A little bit unfortunate further back. Our final race, we would go to the Road Atlanta circuit with the Ford SVT Cobra, while one car wheel on the grass in the braking zone for turn 1 here. Never a particularly good outcome. The rest relatively clean on the start. We head up through the S's. It is a very, very quick top of the hill section. Unfortunately, I think someone might have put a wheel on the grass and turned themselves in front of the pack, which is never a good thing to have happen. It's too wide down the hill as this blue car that we are following makes up a position. 2 cars up ahead running that little bit wide. You certainly don't want to be running any wider than that through that section. He would get one of the blue cars being very slow, stuck out wide. The grey vehicle goes defensive at the top of the course, but can't quite get it stopped in time, and that's a wheel on the grass. Not going to help traction in terms of getting off that corner, and sure enough the blue and white car will take the position away as we now head down this very, very long back straight. Although you have got to bear in mind, while everybody's got, exactly the same cars, if you're the second in the train, you do have a lovely slipstream, and this is a sizable straight that you can make the most of the slipstream, and that was what was going on at the front as the yellow Mustang would spy an opportunity to draw up alongside the grey car as we head down to the heavy braking zone for the first time. The grey car, though, changes direction right at the very last. Massive dive up the inside. Does a great job to get that car stopped, and the yellow vehicle sees that he's coming and knows that he can't quite turn in at that stage. And they've got another couple of cars that are right behind them that are ready for where he would make advantage. Unfortunately, we've got the lagged out ghost cars back, so ignore that vehicle in the background. It's the fun of having the Forza 6 replays once more. As we head into the first corner, the grey vehicle is far enough ahead to hold on to the lead for now. Further back, it was again getting relatively hectic between these vehicles. While relatively large gaps did emerge quite quickly, there were still these larger groups going on. The blue vehicle here all crossed up in the braking zone, couldn't quite get it stopped. Everybody does a good job to avoid running into each other as we now head over the crest down towards the final corner. This black Mustang is looking for a potential way past, can't quite do it there. Tries to get as good a run as possible on the exit, but ends up just bouncing off the tyre bundle. It's a dangerous final corner here. It's a road Atlanta, and that just running wide by about 30 centimetres cost this Mustang 2 places. He was trying to find a way past. If you can get a good run through that corner, you can really set yourself up for the first turn. That's what he's trying to do, just carry as much speed as he could. But when you do that, you run the risk of clattering the tyre bundle, and yeah, that is a dangerous corner. However, there was plenty of action going on at this final turn as the monster car was again having a look, having a sniff at a possibility. It's the grey car trying to give him a bit of space. It goes a wiggle halfway around the corner, and it's forced to go out wide. The white and green car would take the position. The grey vehicle wanted to get back to the inside, just mistimed it ever so slightly, ended up turning into the monster car, slightly compromised the vehicle that was stuck behind him. A good overtake from the monster vehicle, although very nearly throw it away as both the cars run way too wide at the top of the hill. They both got incredibly lucky. Again, another corner that it is easy, very easy, to just carry that 5 miles an hour, too much speed into the turn, and then you suddenly find yourself on the grass barreling towards a tyre bundle that you really don't want to hit. I had a relatively quiet race up until the grey vehicle made a mistake at the chicane and would fall back right into the clutches of the orange Mustang. Going down towards this big braking zone, this is probably your best overtaking spot on the track. The grey Mustang does defend. I am being pretty good under brakes the entire way down here. I was feeling quite confident, and sweep around the outside of the first part will put you on the inside for the second part and would get the move done. Up ahead, third and fourth were rather close together. In fact, a lot of the top sort of 5-6 cars, we were setting very similar lap times, but because it all got a little bit spread out to begin with, it's meant that it was not the most exciting of races, although things were going to get quite hectic as we came onto the final lap. So the leaders have been relatively close, but nobody really quite close enough to try and make a move work. However, on this final lap, The yellow Mustang up ahead ran wide at the top of the hill. Not as wide as we saw from the monster car, however, just runs wide enough, and that gives the white vehicle an opportunity as they fly down the hill. The Martini car is to the inside, but can't quite make the move stick. That's a fast corner down there, especially getting two cars wide through there at racing speed is not the easiest of things. And while the Martini car did get alongside, he's now stuck on the outside for the next 2 turns. He's going to give it a go, though, around the outside as we head up towards now this long straight. In the end, just can't make it stick. Just can't make the move stick around these relatively tight corners. However, he's far closer than he had been in any of the previous laps, and this is what I was saying about the slipstream. When you have such a long straight as this one, it's a very, very powerful tool when you are following the car ahead. However, the leader is always going to cover the inside down here. Actually, it leaves a little bit more of a gap than I personally would have done. Although the Martini car, a little bit excited, just can't quite get the vehicle stopped. The yellow Mustang goes for the cutback, although you're going to be forced around the outside on the run down towards this final corner. That is not really where you want to be going. It's side by side around the final turn. Both cars barely in control. However, the Martini car would slide it up the inside to take a victory. Not very much separating those two. And that's all because the yellow car ran wide at the top of a hill. You know, that's all because of one small mistake on that final lap. For me, things were looking relatively comfortable for a 5th place up until the chicane, where I outbraked myself, ended up in all sorts of trouble, and I'm just slow off of the chicane. That gives the black car an opportunity. I can't get across in time to cover because he's got such a good run. I have to be brave. I try to hang it around the outside. We touch. I'm massively sideways, and this one's even closer. We clatter the back of 4th place. I think the 4th place actually clipped the tyre bundle on the run to the finish line. So yeah, after the finish line, we splattered into the car ahead. It was a ridiculous close finish, and perhaps one of the most spectacular photo finishes that we have had, because, yeah, I was completely sideways. I just booted it towards the line. I didn't care if I spun after the line. I just knew I had to be going full throttle towards the line. Now, we know that Forza tracks where the cars finish based on the front wheel. It's not when the bodywork crosses the line, it's when the front wheel crosses the line. It's very hard to show because my car is very twisted, not quite as twisted as it was earlier in the slide, but because my car is sliding, my front left wheel actually crosses the line before that of the black Mustang. It is quite difficult to see. Forza did give me the position. I think it's about 11 hundredths or 11 thousandths of a second. I can't quite remember. But yeah, a hell of a spectacular photo finish to end that race. I very much thought I was going round or clattering the tyre bundle. Got away with it in all of that. Yeah, a good end to the race. Certainly the focuses were incredible fun. It's always fun racing hot hatches, and Hockenheim short and hot hatches is a very, very good combination that made for a very exciting race. The GTOs got a little bit messed up by an unfortunate tyre bundle incident, and yeah, good race at the front. The Mustangs were, yeah, a little bit more spread out. There's tend to get that when we go up to a little faster cars. A little bit inexperience as well for people coming back to Forza 6. Quite a different game to be getting used to. But yeah, a lot cleaner racing than I perhaps feared we might end up with. It was certainly good fun. However, that is going to be it for this week's Versus the Community. Next time, we are going to be back on Horizon 3. I'm probably going to be alternating between the two from now on. We are going to go racing with A-class cars. However, they must be fitted with race tyres, which means we should have some interesting racing going on. However, that is going to be it for this video. If you want to sign up for that, by the way, you can via our forums. There'll be a link in the description. Find the Failrace vs. Community section, and that is where you can sign up. That's going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.